Hello, everybody. It's Alana from Treehouse, and it's Friday. And when it's Friday, that means it's DQ Day. Welcome, Daniel. Thanks for being
Friday.
back. It's
Friday.
Friday.
Cat Guy Day.
It's Ask the Cat Guy with Tattoos Questions About Cats Day. You know, my cat has tattoos, but you can't see them under his fur.
I bet you all cats have tattoos under their fur. Well, some do when
Wouldn't
they
that be
get
cool? Well,
spayed.
yeah, they get that little spade tattoo, but like, can you imagine the tattoos like Pinkle's got? She's probably got like a little skull and crossbones.
Mom.
Yeah, mom. She's definitely got a mom tattoo for sure under there.
It's got a tramp stamp, a little star back there, a little vines coming up.
Got her tail. Wouldn't that be cool? Like a vine up her tail.
Like we get cat tattoos, they probably get human tattoos of humans doing shit.
We're just kidding. We don't condone tattooing your cat at all. We're just joking that it would be cool if cats had tattoos under their fur that they did on their own.
Yeah, don't tattoo your cat. Please don't.
Yeah,
don't even, well, I won't get into it, but hi. What do you want to talk about?
Hi. Well, we left it open to our viewers today to ask us their questions. So we are inviting everybody to ask your question of Daniel DQ Quagliozzi from Go Cat Go. He knows all about cat behavior and is willing to tell you what you are needing to hear. Right?
Tell you what you need to hear. I'm
going to
tell you the truth. I am going to give you straight shot advice without the BS.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if we get any questions in here. In the meantime, how are things going for you in the cat behavior world? I know that you've had to transition to doing a lot of things via Skype. How is that going for you?
You know, I actually don't mind it. You know, before shelter in place, I was doing home visits, and that's great. I love to immerse myself in your environment, but you know, traveling is kind of a pain in the butt, and the Bay Area especially is a vast map of traffic to get back and forth. So I'm doing my consults for my clients now the same way we are talking right now, and I'm doing classes and Zoom groups, and you know, the way everybody is, just gathering people and talking about cats. The biggest, I think, hurdle for me is that I've been doing shelter work for the last year, working for our local San Francisco Animal Care and Control, and this is a shelter that doesn't have a lot of resources. It's a government, you know, city funded shelter. So I really wanted to spend time with them and kind of build up their volunteer program, because the way it was, just people coming in to sit with cats, but there really wasn't any kind of training or education opportunity going on. So again, until shelter in place happened, I was in the shelter on the front lines working with people in the cages with the cats, and now I'm mostly talking about behavior theory, but I'm working on ways to kind of reach the same volunteers to still add value. So, you know, it's been a little bit of a challenge, but in a lot of ways, I'm kind of cut out for doing work this way too, because I'm a bit of an introvert. I hate going out anyway, so I'm not mad at shelter in place.
Yeah, I've also worked for a shelter for the last year, and it's a little challenging not being able to reach the subjects about which I am writing and speaking, especially the photography. Like on my end, I can't get photos of the cats, so we're having to rely on our foster families and stuff. And they, they're doing a great job with it. It's just hard to kind of get exactly what you need. So I feel you. We're all dealing with that.
Yeah, I mean, I want to train people. I want to train volunteers how to really be effective in getting cats out of the shelter and into homes, but it's hard to train people up on shelter protocol when we don't know when we're going back to the shelter. So,
right. Yeah.
And all the cats are in foster, and so I'm doing a little bit of foster recon where I'm talking to people that are fostering and working them through behavior issues while they're fostering. And if you are fostering yourself at home, you're watching this, know that you are doing a really important job, because especially if the cats have challenges, you're collecting data that is really useful to get that cat into a one-shot home where they're not rebounding back and forth into shelter and home again. And foster parents, you take on a responsibility for a short amount of time, and a lot of folks aren't banking on a cat that they're fostering is going to keep them up all night long crying, or is going to bite them, or attack their feet while they're cooking and stuff like that. So this is stuff that I'm kind of working with people, like, I'm sorry you're dealing with this, but in the meantime, let's work on some ways to collect important information about the cats, but also work a little bit of behavior mod into things while we're at home.
Yeah, fostering is an important part of, like you said, collecting information on the cat, and also seeing if it can alleviate some problem behaviors before they get into their final homes, which would be helpful to them. So we have some questions coming in. Are you ready for these?
I am.
So we have a good one here from Susan, but I kind of want to get back to that because it looks like a more broad question about some of the weirdest cat behaviors you've encountered. So think about that one in the back of your head, because I know we talked about weird cat behaviors like 2 shows ago, but we'll get back to that one. So we have Luke here asking, my cat a month ago was being picky with his food. He'd show interest, ask for food, but only lick and take small bites. He got better and went back to normal, and it started again. Any advice or insight is appreciated. And he added, he's about 10, and he first adopted him from Treehouse a year ago. Hello, Treehouse Kitty. Luke, say hi to your kitty first.
Well, congrats on your Treehouse Kitty. I think.
Well, it's 10 years? Oh,
10 years ago.
Oh, a year ago. Yeah.
Oh, a year ago. Okay.
That's awesome that he adopted a 10-year-old or 9-year-old cat. I mean, I really like when people adopt adult cats, because you know what you're getting.
There are a very small segment of people who are walking into a shelter not looking for a brand new situation. Like a kitten or a young adaptable cat. The people who come in looking for the 10-year-olds are very close to my heart, because that's, you're taking a cat that is fairly set in stone and in their golden years of their life where a lot of management is necessary. So thank you, Luke. To answer your question, though, cats being picky about food is pretty common. They do get finicky, especially right after you buy a case of something you think they like, and they suddenly stop eating that food. I like to experiment with portions, where sometimes I feel like if you put out a lot of food, cats almost reject a big amount of food. So I'll put out little bits, and I'll try feeding cats, not free fed or leaving food out, but I'll do small increments throughout the day, small meals, the way they kind of want to eat fresh food each time. Sometimes the palate changes, they only want the gravy off the food, but they don't want to eat the food. So I think you're in a situation that a lot of us find ourselves in, and that we have to ourselves adapt diets to a cat that is changing physically, cognitively, and I mean, even their olfactory senses and their taste and all that will change in time too. So I always talk about working for food. And I think that sometimes adds intrigue and value to food that was otherwise boring and is kind of reliably there every day. So that's where I would try,
I've been having that with Pants lately. I think sometimes it's like if I have to put supplements in his food, because he has like some bladder issues and things, so he smells them. So I've noticed that if I get a little bit of freeze-dried food, it has a smell to it, and I sprinkle it on top, and then he's like super into it. Like I put a little topper on for them, and they just love that.
Yeah, I think their sense of smell is something we take for granted, just how sensitive to the slightest little change in things, or even the way something like, if you put some medication in a food, a lot of times pills and stuff and things like that are very bitter. And particularly folks that are giving medications for mood or stress or anxiety from their veterinarian's recommendations, those medications a lot of time cause more anxiety because you're trying to give them something that they don't want to eat. And then it becomes a game of trying to get this cat to eat something that does not taste good in their mouth. So yeah, I got to work on, sometimes we have to find something that is so over the top delicious that it overrides anything else they're eating. And I a lot of times will use these things. I'll show you.
I love how you have like a cat arsenal down there on the floor somewhere.
Well, I have my cabinet is right next to me. This is just like pasty, yogurty, delicious, very, very flavorful stuff. And I will disguise things in this too, but I also use it as a way to negotiate with Cubby over things. And I put it in my food toys. I don't go overboard. He's not going to eat the whole tube. I'm just going to put little dabs of it, because a little treats go a long way. You know, I think the one treat you give your cat, you could probably break into 4 pieces and still has the same value.
Mm. Yeah, I heard when I was like training, when I was taking my dog for agility classes, if she did something really good, we were told to do a party. So like instead of giving him one huge chunk, Cubby! Instead of giving him a huge chunk, there he is. Is it too? Oh yeah, he's wandering in because it's. Oh no, it's earlier there. It's almost 2:30
I opened
here.
that cabinet, and the cabinet noise made the noise.
He's
He's like, "Oh, am I going to get some of that yogurty stuff that you were just talking to everybody about?"
I see it on his face.
This is Cubby St. Cubbins. He's a munchkin cat. I got him from San Francisco Animal Control when I was working doing intake about 10 years ago. And he's a cute, cuddly little caterpillar with his own set of issues that he has that we deal with. But I don't know what I would do without him right now.
No, you little buddy. Look at his little feet. So they were telling us that like if you give a dog a giant piece, that's like still one piece. But if you take that same piece and give it to him in 10 tiny pieces, that's a jackpot. Like, do you think it works the same with cats?
I do. Yeah. I mean, treats are high value, right? It's something that your cat's not going to get to eat on the regular. And with cats, I think the dilemma we find ourselves in is that we feel like we don't have control over them, and that's because we don't. So when you have a food motivated cat, you have a little bit of power in that you can deploy food in times when you either okay, well, this is what happens, right?
But
he's waiting for his. I'm gonna give him a treat. Hold on. What did I do with that stuff? Here you go. It's so funny because he's actually standing right next to the stuff and he can smell it. So.
And that's made for cats?
This is churro. It's like a chicken flavored. I'll show you. Squeeze some out.
Well, you said yogurt. So it's not actually yogurt.
No, it's like yogurt in substance. It's just like a cream. And I squeeze it out like a toothpaste. Like this.
And he's in.
There you go, Cub.
And this is the most popular part of our show right here.
Cubby _Saint_Cubbins on Instagram.
It's got his own Instagram page. That's true.
Yeah. But as I was saying, like with food, you have control, and by control, I'm just saying like you can use it to redirect your cat. You can use it to be preemptive. So if you've got, like, let's say every day you cook your own meal and your cat's in your way and he's jumping on the counter and he's begging, well, you know, that's a cat who's motivated to eat. So turn the dial, redirect them to something that's actually more specific for cats, like food work or a puzzle toy, and use treats to your advantage for training, clicker training, which is basically trying to add value and benefit to something that you want them to do, rather than trying to like use punishment and aversive techniques, because that's not what a cat responds to. You can try all the screaming and yelling and stopping, trying to get them to stop to do something, but really they're only going to do something that is worth it for them. So squirt.
Here he is again.
Oh, he has it on his face now.
Does he smell it? Does he just see you doing it? It's just. I want you to try that like 10 minutes from now and see.
All right, I'll just
like once he's gone, let's see if he comes back.
To the top. Hi there. Yeah, no, he's not far away. He sees the stuff.
All right, we've got some other questions, so hopefully that is helpful to Luke. Thank you for your question. So we got a couple other ones coming in here. Jean is asking, my cat loves to cuddle on my lap, but the second I get up, he takes possession of the chair, but he won't give it back anymore. All claws if I try picking him up.
I just had that very same scenario right before we turned this camera on. I'm in the seat that Cubby would prefer to be sitting in. And when I open this window here, the sun hits it, and he's got his spot for the afternoon. Rather than try to pick him up and move him from that spot, I used this. And I used, somewhere around here, I have a bag of chicken. I don't know where that went. But the chicken also, I'm just basically like saying, I've got a better offer for you. And it's over here. And then he leaves. So in your case, the cat is like, you've moved, the seat is warm, I want it now. And if you're trying to move him, your intentions are getting in the way. So just give him a better offer. Just take the treats out like we're talking about, toss him on the floor, get his attention, or toy, or whatever it is that he would rather do, and make it like it's his decision, not yours.
So cats really are like coworkers. If they get a better offer, they will move.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all about value and finding value in their jobs and trying to entice them elsewhere with a better paycheck.
Yeah.
This is what I'm learning from you. This is what it all sounds like. So, yeah.
There's so many things that you can apply to cats that you can apply to people. And that's why I love cats so much. I try to be more like a cat because I feel like they have the secrets to living. The secrets to living in the meow. We can all be better if we just didn't take things so intentionally, if we didn't think so hard on things.
Yeah.
Almost did a spit take.
All right, moving on. So here's an interesting one. Ooh, we got a lot of questions. And Jean says, thank you, by the way. Okay, so we have Alexandra is saying, I have a cat who suddenly has stopped using the cat box, but not all the time. I've tried everything. He's been to the vet 3 times. Thousands of test dollars later, I have no idea what to do. Change litter, change box. I always change litter frequently. Could it be dementia? He's 17. I adopted at 13. And she added, my boyfriend actually broke up with me over the cat's incontinence, so I am committed to him.
Well, yeah, always choose the cat over the man, so I definitely agree with that. If this is infrequent, it makes it a little bit harder because it doesn't, well, let me say this. If your cat rejects the box every single day, then we know, yeah, it's something about that box, right? Yours isn't happening every day. It's happening sporadically, and you've ruled out medical issues and complications, physical discomfort. My follow-up question is, where do the accidents happen? Because that would tell me a lot more. The fact that your cat isn't using the box, I mean, yeah, your cat's 17, things change, and then sometimes they don't have the same, I don't know how to say this. Physically, it can be difficult for cats to get into litter boxes sometimes as they get older, more stiff, stuff like that. Cognitive changes also occur, but can I say for sure it's because your cat's 17? No, I have to know exactly where the accidents happen. And when they do happen, does your cat just fully void their bladder? Do they, like, all the pee comes out at once like they had been holding the pee, or is it happening, in little bits here and there? Is it happening from a cat who's, I'm getting in the position of a cat who's peeing? Are they peeing on the floor, or are they standing and they peeing on the wall? All of that will be the next round of questions I need to know.
And since, you can't necessarily find out all this stuff, I would say, too, one of the things that I would consider, because this happened to me recently, was my 19-year-old cat, and it turned out it was his hips. So I don't know if the doctors checked for arthritis, because he totally wanted to be fastidious about his box. He was using it sometimes, but some days he just could not assume the position to get into the box. And once I replaced it with a huge box, we did not have one more accident in the house, even till the day he was 20. So.
I mean, the conventional litter box is one I'm looking at the one I have right now. It's usually 5 to 6 inches high just to step over. And then once they're standing, if you've ever stood on sand, that's not easy to do, right? So if your cat's got some stiffness or some discomfort in their back legs especially, they may not want to crouch all the way down. They may not want to sit in the litter. They may find that when they do pee, it hits the wall, and it's problematic for a cat to eliminate in a box. I mean, let's be honest. What we're doing to these cats and trying to like accommodate them to eliminate in our homes it's a blessing that it happens at all, to be honest. So my advice would be try a litter box with a very low step in, very wide and big. I would think like a litter box that you can slide under a bed, or the ones that are really wide and shallow, or like a cement mixing pan or something like anything like that
Yeah,
is.
when I first noticed he had the issue, I went upstairs and I got a storage box, one of those under the bed storage box, and I just threw all my junk out of it and put the litter in it, and he used it immediately. It was awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you are a cat and you enter a litter box and that box, you've got 4 inches between your legs and the sides of the box. That doesn't promote normal, comfort and behavior. It pins a cat into a spot where they have to pivot around. If they're pivoting around in a box that is also, and I know you're cleaning your box and everything's cool that way, but if they can't find viable places to eliminate, then they just find better ones. So you could try reducing your litter, depending on where your cat is peeing. If they're peeing in a place that's billowy and soft, then make your litter a little bit more shallow. Do the opposite.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a thorough answer. All right, Alexandra, hopefully that helps. Good luck to you and your kitty. Clemisis, how do I get I hope I pronounced that right. How do I get my car to stop being so aggressive? I'm betting that's cat. Every day he goes into his litter box and then throws his feces right at me.
I don't know about that question. What does that even mean?
Maybe he's kicking it at him, maybe? I don't know.
I think that's a joke.
It could be. Well, he can let us know if it's not a joke and if it's serious.
I mean, how do you get your cat to stop being aggressive is one question. Just like pull back and just be a fly in the wall in your house. I don't know. I mean, like there's a lot going on in that question, and I think I'm just gonna skip it.
I thought it seemed like a real question when I first started reading it. All right. Usually he says he's serious.
Your cat is part chimpanzee. I don't know. I mean, what do you mean when he throws poop at you? Like, what is that? How is that even physically possible?
he's kicking it.
All right, Yuji's got a good question.
All right, Yuji, do you have any tips on moving with a cat to make the process less scary for them?
Yes. If you have the wherewithal to get to the place you're moving before, and you can set up a room for your cat, the way to go is essentially to very slowly. You're still laughing. Is he following up? And I can't see it. Oh, no. Let me just finish this question, and we can devote more time to the poop throwing cat. So you're moving, okay?
I'm sorry, Yuji. Daniel, please.
Okay, so you're moving. You want to set up a room that has familiar things, because not only is the move going to scare you, I can't talk when you're laughing at me. Yeah, you could go off screen. So listen, Yuji, when you're moving, set up a safe room, move furniture over that the cat actually, sits on and is comfortable with. We basically want a place that is already familiar by scent and familiar by sight to your cat. It wouldn't be a bad thing to invest in one of those Felloway plugins, those little pheromone diffusers, like their classic one, because that'll balance out pheromones in the room, and will make it a little less daunting for the cat to transition. But you want to set up hiding spots. You want to set up high spots, whatever it is that your cat does to feel comfortable. And really just give them the time to acclimate on their own and really watch for their curiosity while they're in the room. Sometimes it may take some time where you have to keep the door closed for a while. Then maybe you have to, kind of crack it open little by little, baby gate the door. And then, it can be days to weeks to months for some cats. But my first advice is please don't jump the gun. Just allow them to acclimate to the move. If your cat is stressed out about going in cat carriers, um, leave the cat carrier that you intend to move the cat with in a spot that is familiar. Encourage them to go in with treats or food or playtime, catnip, anything that makes it more appealing, and then use that as the first kind of transition to go to the new home. So at least they have something that smells like them, that they have a good positive reinforcement attached to it, and hopefully that will chip away at any stress. I don't know what happened to Alana. Apparently she is in the laugh factory next door. Now she
I
has to
thought
wear a
maybe this
mask.
would help, so you can't see me
I feel like I'm in the
laughing.
game of Mortal Kombat now. Finish
Like
him!
my lobsters. Yuji says he loves it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So what's going on with Poop Thrower?
He says he's serious. That's all I got.
Okay.
He scoops it and tosses it.
He scoops it and tosses it. Well, if he's just like kicking it out of the box, and that's
what I thought. That's what I thought. Maybe it was.
Maybe you need a larger box, or I don't know. I mean, it's not about you. That's all I can say. It's just not about you.
Maybe you can just scoop it real quick and clean it out, and then it won't happen
more often. Yeah, so your cat doesn't have to dig around so much. And I mean, if he's pooping and immediately after he poops, he gets it out of the box, clearly he does not want any evidence in that box.
Yeah. So I guess get on that poop faster.
Yeah.
Instead, it's more like a flick, but it goes pretty far.
It's a flick.
It's a flick.
A flick.
Just scoop it quick. Devices.
Yeah, get in there. Don't get an automatic box either. That's not going to help.
No, we don't. You don't like those. I mean,
I'm anti-robot.
All right. We've got Tosh. My cat has kidney issues, 4 litter boxes, uses them sometimes, but mainly pees on the doormat. I don't know what else to try. He's in a new special diet, but I don't think it's helping peeing outside the boxes. Is it similar to the last question, or you think?
He's got kidney issues. They've got a lot of options, 4 boxes. He's sometimes using them, but peeing on the doormat. Let's talk about what a doormat represents. So doormats, if we're talking about one by a front door, that is collecting every novel smell that comes into your home. Every smell when you walk from the outside in plants on that mat. So that can feel to some cats like a threatening place or a place that they're not so sure of, and they may pee on it to make it smell more familiar to them. A doormat, bath mat, any kind of shallow rug is like the perfect substrate for a cat who is having kidney issues, because it's the soft place that absorbs. If a cat has kidney issues, sometimes they get a painful eversion to the boxes that they've always used. So I would look at the significance of that area, but also, I mean, your cat has some complications physically too that are kind of complicating things. So why don't we try this? Pull the mat for a while, see if it's still happening on the bare floor. If it is, then it is truly about that area, not about what sits there. You know what I mean? Like a cat peeing on a hard floor is a desperate move. It's not a logical move. And if we remove something that's attractive there, and maybe we move a litter box nearby or within eye shot of that box, and we pack that litter down so tight that it feels like a mat. I can show you right now. Well, it'd be hard to, but if you look in my litter box, the litter is like, you could put a level on it. It's so flat because I pack it down real tight. because that's Cubby's preference. So
I've heard a thing too about cats specifically appreciating peeing on rubber-backed rugs. Like that's a thing.
yeah, it's I personally don't know the scientific reason why that occurs, but rubber-backed rugs have could be the smell, honestly. It could be that like petroleum type smell that plastic and rubber has. Also, rubber mats usually are mats that have like they absorb water from your feet or something, right? So they're moist to touch. They're often really soft. Um, but yeah, they do seem to be very popular for peeing. Also, those furry faux fur rugs that people buy that are white and look like you had killed a polar bear or something in your living room. Cats pee on those quite a bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Tosh, I hope that's helpful to you. Let's see. So we've got a bunch of questions here. Sorry, I've had to go through a few of these. There's a whole bunch of things going on. Oh, Tosh said he just finds another rug when we take it away. So
okay,
and yes, it is a rubber-backed doormat.
Okay, so try this. Remove the rug. Put a very shallow litter box nearby with a wee pad in it. Perhaps even change one of 4 of your litter boxes to that, and meet the preference that this cat is telling you. Because if they go to the litter boxes and there's litter, and then there's suddenly like Pepsi Coke challenge, right? There's all 4 boxes you always know, but 1 or 2 has changed with a substrate that matches where you pee. So those wee pads, the puppy training pads, inside a litter box might and throw a little bit of dirty litter on it. Just a scoop of some litter that's already been peed on, so it smells like a place to eliminate. And see if matching the preference that way helps.
Tosh said, thanks. I haven't tried the pads in the litter box. All right. Well, hopefully it helps. Let us know. Marie, what is the best way to introduce a new kitten to a cat involved in cat?
How old is that cat? I mean, it doesn't always matter what the age is, but the older you go, the harder it gets, because older cats, let's say over the age of 5 even, have a really hard time adjusting sometimes to the approach and naivete of a young kitten who doesn't really see the body language signs or the cues. I think as humans, we have this sort of romantic idea that our older cats are going to mother or father these younger kittens when they come in, and they often don't. They often are really pissed off that they have to deal with this kitten who's bothering them so much. So
she said he's 2 years old.
He's 2. Okay, so you're in a good window. So with a 2-year-old cat, you still have some adaptability to other cats. And the impetus here is that you go really, really, really slow, and then we don't let them have so much face time right off the bat, because the approach I'm talking about is when a kitten just like goes like a missile right to this cat, like, hey, let's play, and jumps on them, and they're like, whoa, I'm not ready for this. So it takes some time for the kitten to what we want to do is allow the kitten some time to acclimate to a small space first. That's where I think baby gates are great, because they can see each other, and it gives this adult cat some time to kind of size this kitten up. But we don't want cats in cat carriers. We don't want to put the kitten in a cat carrier and let the cat circle the carrier. We don't want to manage things too hard, because, and I guess what I'm saying, like, by managing too hard, is we don't want to create situations for cats that aren't conducive to them making a decision freely. So the best case scenario is that your older cat can actually, walk away, go somewhere else. Kittens are a lot easier managed than older cats are. They're distractible. They will often, walk over to an older cat, but then they see a toy out of their peripheral vision and they run for the toy instead. So what you want to do is allow the kitten and the adult cat to share space routinely every day in little increments, where the kitten attention is satiated enough where the adult cat can be like, all right, this isn't messing with me too much, and I can go up to the top of the tree if I want, or I can leave. but it's about preserving the threshold that that adult cat has. You know, we want to encourage them to play and to be together, and but we don't want to overwhelm and ruin the impression so badly that the adult cat is just like, screw this, like this is never going to work, you know. So go slow, but you are in a great window with a 2-year-old cat and a kitten, because if you do it slow and you do it right, likely it will be okay.
Good advice for many things in life. Okay, Karen says, is there any way to keep my cats out of the kitchen sink? It drives my husband crazy.
What do they do in the sink? I mean, are they just jumping in there? Do they like water? Because if they like water, we have an issue. But I would say, like, try filling the sink with water. See if they still want to go in it. If that's aversive, like they go in like, ah, shoot, there's water in here. It's not what we wanted.
You mean like
Sometimes
2 feet of water, not like a whole sink full of water, right?
like a couple inches, you know. Same thing with, I have clients that cats pee in the bathtub, so I'm like, just put like a couple inches in there, stop it up. They're not going to want to stand in water and pee. So, but if the appeal is like they want to be in the kitchen because you're up to, you know, washing dishes or doing stuff around there, those are cats vying for your attention in a space up off the ground that they are intrigued by. So if it's you, the person who's like, get out of here, and you move the cat out of the sink, tomorrow they'll be back and they'll try it again, because even though you did something that in your thinking is negative, they're like, that was not exactly what I wanted, but it was part of the game, right? So you have 2 decisions. One, surrender to the fact that they're going to have that curiosity and allow them to do it. If it's driving your husband crazy, you've got to have something in the sink that makes the sink not a place of attractive to them. And they make aversive things that I don't always like, you know, on the market, that make countertops scary places. There's a little, like a can of air thing with a motion sensor on it that you can put on places, and it shoots a burst of air and the cats get scared and they run. But do we want that? Do we want them scurrying out of your kitchen sink in fear? I'm not so sure. So think about what the appeal is there. They're looking for food. Okay.
Well, because I was going to say, like, if you don't clean the drain trap right away, like once they find food scraps in there, I've noticed that I have to clean the drain trap. Otherwise, my cats, especially if I have like a can of tuna, or I rinse their food in the sink and then like dump it, then the little pieces are down there, and that's what they're going for.
Give it a, give it a good wipe. Dump out your sink trap and spray it with some citrusy smelling stuff. Clean it with that. See if that is enough to make them go, ugh, gross, citrus, and they don't want to go up there.
Not like citrus. Pickle always does that. Like, she thinks that, like, I have some orange and she wants to smell it, and then she's that's the face that she makes right away. I'm like, you really want some? Ah! Then she runs.
There's very few animals that like citrus, like that want to eat that. Even dogs are like, oh God, what are you doing?
Yeah. My dog is weird too. Like, there's certain things that she likes. She likes like crunchy or bread, but then like you give her a vegetable, she takes it. She's so excited to take it, and then she goes.
Yeah.
Nice dog. Karen says, "Thank you. You're welcome, Karen. Thank you for stopping by and asking a question." All right. So I think we've caught up with the questions. So we can go back to Susan's question. Have you thought about this? I'd love to hear about some of the weirdest cat behaviors you've encountered.
So the trouble is that, like, I don't always think things are weird or abnormal. I don't know. Like, I feel like the things that cats do are just they're adjusting to living in a box with us. They're trapped in this situation. Okay, so I had one. There's 2 that come up, but I feel funny talking about them because they're like sexual issues at the same time. Like, all right, here's one. Here's a weird story that comes up. Did I tell this last time about the lady who every time she and her husband had sex, her cat would go pee on their couch?
Nope.
So
I feel like maybe you told me this, but I don't think that you have.
I mean, it's not really weird behavior. It's normal behavior, but what was funny about the story was, like, I literally had to go to their house and meet this couple, and I used to send out a questionnaire, and they'd write this whole description of the problem, and she was also a writer, so it was written like I was reading some sort of romance novel about, it's like 50 Shades of Grey. So I
50
go
Shades
there,
of Grey cat.
50 Shades of Grey Tabby. Um, so I go to their house. They're an older folks, like 60, 70, older than me. And yeah, they're convinced that every time they make love, their cat leaves the room and retaliates by peeing on their couch. I was not crazy about their litter box situation, to be honest. So that's kind of what I was centering on. But I mean, maybe there was noise or something that made this cat anxious, and then they went to a place that like of insecurity and peed there. I'm not so sure. The weirdest behaviors I run into are what cats decide to eat, what they do as OCDs, their drinking habits, putting their head under a faucet, just letting the water drip all over their head. Over groomers, like cats are completely licked bald. Um, just I can't think of anything that's just so batshit crazy that it would warrant being weird. But aggression cases are always a little bit weird, or cases where cats suddenly don't recognize a human being or another cat. And I think that was a question that you had posted on your Instagram page about cats not recognizing each other after a vet trip, right?
Yeah, yeah, that happens. That's happened. I mean, it took 6 weeks for one of my cats to accept the other cat after his surgery.
Yeah, it can
6
take
weeks.
time, and it's a heartbreaker because most
Yeah.
people when they're cats, like they've been friends their whole life, and now they don't recognize each other. And then what's interesting is I don't think, I mean, we always compare cats to dogs, but I've never heard of a dog not recognizing another dog. They're usually like 15 years, and they're like, "Oh my God, I've never seen this person in 15 years," and they wag their tails like they remember. Where cats are like, "You've been gone for 15 minutes. Who the hell are you?"
No, do you think they don't recognize each other, or do you think it's like almost like an imposter thing? Because like he recognized her. That was the most heartbreaking thing, was that he was looking at her like, "What did I do?" And she was mad at him. When he turned around and she could smell him, it was fine. But when he was facing her because he had had a dental surgery, like I almost feel like she thought something wasn't right. Like he was replaced with an imposter, and her sensors were going off. That she wanted to like be 100% sure that this was the right cat, even though she knew it was technically.
Yeah, I call it having a strange picture, or like a strange picture, like this doesn't match up with the smell. Like you don't smell like who I think you are, or because the smell is the biggest piece. They're coming back sometimes shaved, smelling like whatever that office smelled like, or even smelling like their own fear or expressed anal glands, all the things that happen in their own body. They're full of pheromones. You imagine the pheromones that are produced in fear and anxiety. So then they come home, and then this cat walks in, and they're like, wait a second, So I don't know, maybe it's akin to a dog who is cool with everything except for a guy on a skateboard, or men that wear hats or something. It just doesn't line up to their perception somehow.
I feel like it's like when you're dating someone and then all of a sudden they switch their cologne, right? And then you're like, something's off. That never happened.
Or it's like you're dating someone and they come home smelling like someone else's smell.
Yes, and then they tell you they stopped at the cologne shop on the way back.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I'm anti-cologne, so if you smell like cologne, you're not going to be around me very long.
Uh-oh. But that's a topic for another day. Susan has another question. Why does my cat knock things off the counter? It seems very rude. She must have her reasons.
Cats knock things off of counters a lot of times out of boredom, creativity. They're trying to create stimulus in an environment that's probably barren, or there's a deficit of stimulation. Your cat
My cat
knocks
was
things
so
up.
creative. I lost a whole set of glasses.
Right? That's art. That's art your cat was making. No, but I think like these things happen because one, when they do it, they know that there's a change in your energy. There's a change in your body language. There's a change in your attention. Suddenly you're staring at your computer, but then they start fiddling with things and you're like, whoa, 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 Cubby, whoa, Cubby, and then you're suddenly there with your cat. So it's an any port in a storm situation where your cat is looking for anything and trying to create situations that are barren. So Susan, I would say play with your cat more, give them more things to do. Talk about food puzzles. Food puzzles are a great thing to bat around with your feet, instead of your things on your counter.
Susan's feet or the cat's feet?
They're the cat's feet.
Oh, okay. I got instant gourds for my cat after he broke all my glasses. Whenever it was fall, I would buy those mini pumpkins, and I would line them up on the windowsills and things, and he would walk through and just go push, push, push. And I remember one time I was like, I did it because it amused him, and I knew he liked doing it. And so, like, one time he was doing it, and I was like, Rocky, don't do that. And he looked at me. He maintained eye contact with me the entire time, and he moved it just a little, and just a little, and then he went, and then he batted it and ran. It was brilliant.
Yeah. So, I'm not a believer in spite. I'm not a believer for cats. I don't believe that they're that developed in their thinking that they're doing things just to mess with us. But in situations where we're that directly involved, sure. Like he's like about to do it, then he noticed you. So he's like, am I still allowed? And so it's both experimenting with your reaction and, a little bit of Sir Isaac Newton going on there too. They're trying to figure out gravity.
I think it means they're brilliant. They're like interacting, they're doing stuff, they're creating their little environment.
Yeah. The one thing to consider, Susan, is that none of the stuff on the counter is yours anymore once you let that cat in your house. So you're like, I'm knocking my things over. I don't know what you're so mad about.
It's true. Everything in the house is there. Looking around at everything that's no longer mine.
Yeah.
Actually, everything in this room, everywhere I look, there's a cat thing. So
there's a lot of cat things in here.
Not the lamp, but
yeah. Cubby's behind me this whole time.
Oh! You were supposed to get the. There he is. It's all curled up. You're supposed to get the little thing and see if he shows up.
Oh.
Wait, did you put it away or is it still on your desk? Oh yeah. Okay. Don't let him see it. Yeah, like surreptitiously. Yeah, like just squeeze it and see if he shows up. Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact with him.
I have to know what he's up to, though. I need to
read. He'll show up. If he's coming, he's coming.
No, he ain't going. Look at his face.
Oh, yeah, he's not. No, he's not interested.
He's not moving.
I would have thought he would have been interested.
He's half-hearted at best. He is not. He'll move if it made more plastic noises, he'll probably get up.
Maybe it's part of the crinkle noise that you like, not just the flavor, but the value is in the noise.
The noise is what kicks it off. The only reason he came in here is because he heard that cabinet door open.
But now he doesn't care.
He's forlorn right now.
All right. Well, we've answered all the questions. So if anybody else has any questions, we have 10 minutes left. So get them in now. Otherwise, Daniel, tell us something fascinating.
Something fascinating. Did you know that most cats don't want you to pet them on the butt? And that a lot of people
do love being petted. Yeah, but they always stick it up in the air.
Yeah. But does that mean they like it, or does that mean that it's stimulating? And does that stimulation necessarily mean it's positive? These are questions.
They are questions. Are they good questions? Okay. Well, how do you know that most don't like it?
Um, if it leads to petting-induced aggression, if it leads to a lower threshold for attention altogether, if it leads to hyper-stimulation, which, like if I were to go pat Cubby on the butt right now, pop, 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 he would get all agitated, So what I see a lot of people doing is taking physical liberties with their cats, doing things that are not at all necessary, but things that they, through trial and error, figure out that like maybe it changes their cat's body language. So that area that's along the back and right before the base of the tail, uh, people call it the elevator butt or whatever, right? They give it a little bit of a, and it goes up, 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 up. I think that that's your cat being aroused, but it isn't necessarily a good thing.
Okay. Yeah, so I have one cat. If you do that to him, he immediately goes, like he doesn't like it. But I have another cat that when you do that, she runs over to the cat tree and then hangs onto the tree and then scratches while you do it.
Yeah, because you're doing something that is so over the top stimulating. She's literally holding on to something, like it's not like she's trying to escape it, but she needs to like hold tight to allow it to happen.
But
so
I feel like she wants it though, because she does this thing where she'll like run around and I'll stop doing it. She'll chase after me and run back to the tree and then hold on.
Yeah, it's debatable whether she actually wants that. Yeah.
I don't know what else she's asking for. She's been doing this for 13 years.
I mean, I think I talked about this before. Where I had a client who, she would spin the cat on the floor. I talk about this.
You did mention this one, yeah.
Yeah, I'll always remember her because we had such an argument in her home, and then again on Instagram when she posted videos of her doing it, and I was just like, oh no, please, what are you doing? And then she was like, I don't understand why you don't like me doing this. And I just said, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think you need to take your cat from head to tail and spin them like a top on your floor. Like, it just doesn't, even though they don't run away and they don't, I just don't think they walk up and ask for that particular thing to happen. Yeah.
It's just our thing.
Yeah.
I guess you probably want me to stop patting her on the butt then.
In moderation, I think it's fine. You know what I mean? Like if it's part of your petting regimen, but if you're doing it in a moment where your cat is now racing around the room and grabbing cat trees, like, was that a necessary thing to do? Did she need to be that stimulated? Debatable.
Isn't it? So would you say that it's not good exercise? Like, do you find that there's a difference between the overstimulate? Well, I don't want to say over, but like that type of stimulation where they're running around versus like exercising. Like, is that bad for them to get to that level?
It's not the same. I mean, it's like the difference between you jogging and someone like, I'm trying to think of an analogy.
Chasing you?
Somebody chasing you with an electric buzzer, like I don't know, like it's not it's not a situation your cat made up. It's like I don't know. It's just not necessary. That's all I'm saying.
All right, that's fair. There's a lot of things that aren't necessary.
True.
I win. I just want to see him make a noise first. Okay. So we don't look like we have too many other questions here. So I guess we can start wrapping up. What do you? I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to tell people?
Sure. Tomorrow, if you are around in the afternoon, I am doing a group Zoom kind of a thing for a cat cafe in Miami. Actually, it's called the Cat's Meow Cafe, and I think they'll be broadcasting that live on Facebook. So if you're interested, check in. I think it's happening at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so 1 p.m. or something like that. Anyway, Cat's Meow Cafe. And if you want advice one-on-one, you can do that with me by going to gocatgosf.com and booking me.
You're like Facebook Live famous.
You know, what are you going to do?
I thought you were just doing this with us. I didn't realize you were
the world we live in. Well, I mean, I think the problem right now is that the world is saturated with opportunities to watch people Zooming and talking about stuff.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is that, like, I can be talking to a Chicago audience, I can talk to a Miami audience, I can talk to my locals here, and it's just about spreading info and getting that wisdom out there.
The Treehouse audience is very cosmopolitan. They're from all over.
I like Treehouse's audience.
Treehouse has a good audience.
Good questions.
Good people. Good cat lovers.
I wish I could come visit.
Yeah. I was going to say you should. And then I realized.
That was the plan originally, but.
It was the plan to have you at a Treehouse.
Yeah. I mean, I'm bummed that there won't be any more cat conventions, but I'm also not bummed about that. I like doing them because. Huh?
It might not be forever, just for a time.
Not this year, anyway. But
yeah,
I was supposed to go on tour this year with like a bunch of different cat conventions in different cities, talking about doing cat behavior seminars and, you know, doing what I do. But here we are.
You can go on tour from your room.
Yeah.
Next time we do this, take your computer to a different place in the house.
I thought about doing it from outside today. It's just too sunny, and I didn't want to burn up.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You have so much sunshine over there in California.
We didn't have it like for the last 4 days, so today's our day. We have sun. I'm in San Francisco. The sun doesn't always shine here. It's mostly foggy. Yeah, okay. It's not warm, so.
We finally just got warm and sunny right now, like at 2 o'clock. But I'm in here talking to you.
We've got 1 more hour of peak temperature. 3 o'clock, man.
Yeah, I know. It's 3 o'clock now.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, on that note, Daniel, thank you again for joining us. It was very nice to have you. Thanks for answering everybody's questions. And everybody, thank you for being here. We hope you enjoyed this time with us. And we will see you again another time. Say bye, Daniel.
Bye, Daniel.